Hello, everyone. It's Charlton, and it's been quite a day. Quite a day. Major roller coaster. Everybody's kind of just going right back to their corners. And everyone who believed this woman before today still believe this woman, and everyone who didn't believe this woman still don't believe this woman after today. Pretty much the same, I'd say. There might have been some lines changed. And, after this woman testified, Blasey Ford, she seemed very sympathetic, and it seemed like, even talk radio, they were saying that it's over. And unless he comes out fighting and does something major, almost like a Clarence Thomas type thing, it's done. But he, and I'm not trying to make this overly melodramatic or dramatic. But I was very impressed by Brett Kavanaugh, and I was touched by many times, and I thought he did himself a lot of service today, and I was proud of him. And I think he's going to get confirmed. I do. I'm going to just get right to the point. And there is some developments right now in terms of where we stand. There's 4 key votes on the Republican side that the Republicans need. You basically need, they need 50 votes plus 1, but that could be Mike Pence. So they need 50 votes. I don't know how many they can afford to lose, to be honest with you. But the four swing votes are Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Jeff Flake of Arizona, who actually sits on the Judiciary Committee, and Bob Corker of Tennessee. And actually, in the last couple hours, it's already broken that Bob Corker is going to vote yes. So there's one down right there. The word is that they're pressing forward with a committee vote tomorrow, Friday. I don't know procedurally what that means if it does get passed through the committee, which I believe it will. I believe it's going to be a party line vote, including Jeff Flake is going to vote yes. And and then I want to say Monday is when a floor vote would be, but I'm not positive. But I also just heard on Shannon Bream's show that there's a report out there that right now Joe Manchin, the Democrat from West Virginia, that he didn't see anything because he was leaning towards a yes vote before all this happened. And today, the word is, and this is not confirmed, is that basically he didn't see anything today that would change that vote, meaning he's still going to vote yes. That would be huge, huge. In my opinion, he's going to be confirmed, and I think it's a really good thing. I really do. I think today just illustrated more than anything else. He's a good person, and he's actually, part of his problem throughout this entire process is that he is not like them, okay? He's not like, even though he's grown up in and he spent his entire life in public service, he's actually not this mean, nasty person like most of Washington. He's actually kind of just a nice person. He's not like a vicious prosecutor or, a vicious politician. He's actually a very fair-minded judge. He just demonstrated that today. He's the perfect kind of person that should be on the Supreme Court, irregardless of where your political beliefs line up. And, I just, I could go into, and this is Trump. The White House reportedly is quite pleased, and I'm telling you, today was a massive roller coaster. Basically, after this woman testified, Blasey Ford, many people were saying it's done, it's over, and I'm not even sure. This is the second or third time I've tried to make this video. Not sure if I'm repeating myself, but I actually. This whole thing, man, it's really gotten to absurd levels. It just has. This whole Me Too thing where any person can make an accusation. Just set her aside for a second, and they immediately become, as long as they're not like a hooker, or basically anybody with a college education becomes a credible person, I guess people who, pump gas and stuff like that, they're not credible. But, and I'm being sarcastic, facetious, obviously. I'm just saying that, basically, if you're a female and you accuse somebody, you automatically become credible, unless you have a criminal record. I don't know, dude. It's just, and I did find her, her testimony, even though at the points it seemed because of her demeanor, she definitely appeared to be sympathetic. But I also had issues with plenty of things she said. I mean, she seemed quite bright in some instances, but other times where she didn't really want to answer the question, then she also became a little less intelligent, or her memory would, conveniently not be quite as good, whether it was talking about handing over her notes from her therapist to the Washington Post, and I think the prosecutor there was just trying to establish that, because they refused to hand that over to the committee, okay, based on citing privacy concerns and other things. But, that's a pretty critical piece of information. If you're making this accusation, you're saying that corroborates your story, but then refuse to hand it over, stating privacy concerns, but you handed it over to the Washington Post, that poses a problem, I think. And that's one of the things. I mean, the airplane thing early on, I made the video about it. I intended to make videos all day long. I got sidetracked just from work and family and just regular life, and I didn't get to do it. But that was actually a real moment. I mean, she sort of looked silly, because it wasn't just, she actually answered the prosecutor that she was afraid of flying. She said she was, but she mustered up the strength to get on the plane to come to Washington. And then that same, and within seconds, she was asking her, well, weren't you just in Washington or on the East Coast in Rehoboth, for a month's time? I think she was there for the Washington Post interview as well as on a family matter. And reportedly, she comes every year at that time. And she flew, and according to her CV, which is, I think, her curriculum vitae or vita or whatever it's called, she states on there that she's an avid traveler. She loves travel, the Pacific and Hawaii, and in her job she flies fairly frequently. So it was a moment where it's not a huge thing, but reportedly she didn't want to come to Washington, or she was going to drive because to delay things, which is what Republicans have been saying all along, is that this is all just about delay. But she was literally going to drive because of her fear of flying. And that was, it was a contradiction. There are other things too, though, throughout where, she was just treated so gently that, basically it was the prosecutor or the Republicans' plan to just not mess up. And I think they achieved that. And thankfully, Brett Kavanaugh came out and, I think he made an impression on America today. I really did. I don't want to overstate it, but, yeah. I think he's going to get confirmed. And I think that's a really good thing. I really do. And I think we all need to take a breath with this Me Too thing. And, we just need to, I hope, going forward, when any female has an issue with anybody, if it's serious, you take matters to the proper authorities, to the proper person, your parents, the law, an attorney. Take action right away. You don't wait 30 years, 36 years. And, I could believe me, I could talk about this a lot more, but it's too delicate, and that's the problem. But, and I don't really want to insult, this person. But that wouldn't be my intention. But you could definitely, you have to ask yourself, not just why you didn't say anything all these years. It's, I don't want to get into it. I really don't. But it's an issue. It is. It's not just the fact that you didn't say anything for that long. It's other things, Okay. So, but Trump was very, very happy after Kavanaugh's appearance, and I don't blame him. And what he says is exactly what I agree with. I like Trump quite a bit, and I just like him more and more every day. He said, Judge Kavanaugh showed America exactly why I nominated him. I fully 1,000% agree. His testimony was powerful, honest, and riveting. Democrats' search and destroy strategy is disgraceful, and this process has been a total sham, an effort to delay, obstruct, and resist. The Senate must vote, and they must. I feel, I mean, a lot of this, their questioning of him, it seemed to turn to the drinking greatly. And I mean, it just is silly. We're talking about the yearbook and things that are written in yearbook, and they're still contesting that. I see over at the Huffington Post that they're saying that he, misled about what was in the yearbook and those slang words, boof and triangle, and that and they're citing the Urban Dictionary that he basically wasn't truthful in his answers. This is from 36 years ago. There was no such thing as an Urban Dictionary in 36 years ago. I believed whatever he was saying of it, but even it's a high school yearbook. It's ridiculous. But the point I wanted to make is that they changed their line of questioning from the assault did not seem to be the center of what the Democrats asked Kavanaugh. They focused on the drinking, and it's interesting. He started putting it back to them. Tons of partying, even at their level, at the congressional and Senate level, goes on all the time. I hear stories on talk radio of people, they used to call cabinet meetings, right? They used to have there'd be some senator or something, we got to have a cabinet meeting. But the joke was the cabinet was the liquor cabinet, and they would all come into the person's office and have a drink in the middle of the day. Heavy drinkers, heavy partiers, and he was actually putting it back to some of these other congressmen. I can tell you right now, as a little thing, I'm not going to be specific, but I'm telling you, because I used to party a lot as a young man, okay? And because of that, it's funny, he didn't. He doesn't know these things, but I do. I can tell when one of the persons on that Senate Judiciary Committee was on television, about a week ago or less, all right? And this person was totally, in my opinion, and I'm almost 1,000, I'm pretty sure I'm right, was totally tuned up on coke. Okay, and I'm telling you, it was like this person had just taken an Afrin and jammed it up this person's nose, and you could see that they were lit up. Okay, and so these people are not angels, believe me. He is, and that's and that's his problem. But today he stood up for himself, and good for him. He's just kind of a good person, and it's a real relief and breath of fresh air to see somebody like that actually get up to the Supreme Court. I think it's a great thing. I think he's going to get confirmed. And that's the story there, man. All right. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I will see you in the next video. Later, man.